right, welcome back, everybody. This is Todd Sylvester with the Todd Sylvester Inspires Belief Cast. Once again, I have an amazing person on today. Her name is Casey Rothey.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on, and I appreciate you coming in today.
Thank
And I'm
you.
excited again, listeners, for you to hear her amazing story and the great things she's doing in her life right now. And I want to give a shout out again to our sponsor, Veracity Networks. I'm so grateful for them and for their help in getting this podcast out to a lot of people. And your listeners, thank you for your support. It's been so wonderful. And I've had so many people reach out and say, man, they love the format, and I'm open to suggestions and everything to make it better. But it's really the guests that make this amazing. And I pinch myself as I sit here and interview amazing people, and you know, Casey's no different. So thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So Casey is a personal trainer and nutrition coach, and she's been doing that since 2008. It sounds like she's really into fitness. She trains people. She helps people not only physically, but mentally and spiritually. She's worked with the youth. She's worked with people in recovery. She's very passionate about what she does. She's got a great attitude about her and just a great aura. And I'm just excited for you guys to not only we'll find out what she does, but why she does it, and just to get to know her a little bit. So here we go. Good to have you on.
Thanks.
So why don't you let us know a little bit about where you grew up and about your family? You know, you mentioned you grew up in, to me before, in San Diego.
Yes, I did. Born and raised in Escondido, down in San Diego, and loved it. Grew up on an avocado orchard.
Really?
Yeah, it was great. And we did lots of climbing trees, and I have 6 siblings.
Okay.
And then my parents, and we have a very close family, very good family. And
Wow,
so
so-
I had a good childhood. It was fun.
So where do you fit in line? Are you the youngest, oldest, middle?
I am second oldest.
Second oldest. Okay.
Yep.
So avocado orchard.
Yeah.
Everyone loves, it seems like avocados. I can't imagine. That was probably awesome.
It was amazing. Yeah.
Right. So was that like a family business kind of thing that they sold avocados, or was it just something that they had to?
Well, we would just, my dad would have someone come to pick the avocados, and he'd sell them. But
Okay.
that's not what he did for a living.
Okay.
So it's just for fun, I guess.
Just for
I don't
fun.
know.
Right.
Yeah.
So how long did you live in San Diego?
My whole life growing up, when I went away to college, that was when I moved. So I went to all my schooling in San Diego.
Okay. So you did all schooling down there.
Yep.
And so talk about that, like growing up, what were some of the things that you experienced and some of the things that maybe were challenging as growing up in San Diego?
I loved it.
I know anyone who's been to San Diego will go, yeah, it's amazing.
Right. They're
Right?
like, wait, why did you move away?
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved San Diego, of course. I absolutely loved the beach and anything outdoors. Growing up down there it was good.
Right.
We have a real close family, and we didn't have neighbors really. So it was like my siblings and we were all just best friends and real tight. And I
Right.
think that's helped us stay real close, and we've got good parents.
Sure.
Yeah.
So are you still close with your siblings
Yes.
to this day, I guess?
Yes.
Now, did everyone end up moving out of San Diego? Do your parents still live there? Are they still alive? Are they still around?
My parents are still around.
Uh-huh.
They live in Utah now.
Okay.
And I have 2 siblings still down that way. And then the rest of us are Utah, Colorado, Arizona. So just kind of out west still.
All out west, which
Yeah.
is nice.
Yep.
Stay in touch.
But we still go back,
Right.
visit, yeah.
So when did you start getting passionate about fitness? How did that all come about?
Well, I was always active as a child. I started doing gymnastics when I was about 5.
Okay.
And I did that all the way up through part of high school. And then I also played basketball, and I went to kind of a smaller elementary school where everybody did all of the sports because it was so small. So we all played volleyball and we all played softball and everything. So
Right.
I had an opportunity to do lots of things. I played soccer on a little AYSO team when I was younger,
Right.
and so it was just fun. I love to be active, just to run around, and it's kind of just carried over. I still love it.
Right. Still very passionate about it.
Yeah.
So that led to, you did that. Did you play any sports in high school, like on the teams and things like
I
that?
did. Yeah, I played basketball.
Okay.
So I was the point guard there, and
Nice.
that was fun. Yeah, that was good. I love basketball. I'll still go shoot hoops sometimes
Really?
at the gym. Yeah,
We'll have to go shoot. I love shooting
yeah,
hoops. Yeah.
definitely. And then I did gymnastics, like I mentioned, and I was on the dance team. And yeah, just love to stay active.
Yeah. So, and then you go to college, and when did you decide you wanted to be like maybe more involved in the fitness arena?
Actually, when I was in high school and I was on the basketball team, we had a weight training class, and I loved it. I absolutely loved lifting weights,
Mm-hmm.
and I could feel my body just getting stronger, and that was
Right.
exciting to me.
Yeah.
I loved it. And then after high school, in college, I took some nutrition classes, and I also took another weight training class, and that was a lot of fun. But after high school, you kind of slow down. You're not doing your PE and all your sports anymore, and so your body starts changing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta stay in shape.
Right.
Now that I'm not so active all the time. So I started running and got into doing marathons and lots of races. I had moved to St. George at a
Okay.
certain time, after I got married. We moved to St. George, and there were all sorts of races going on there. And so I really got into running, and I kind of just do a little of everything.
Just doing everything, man.
Yeah.
You are active. I'm over here sitting going, dang, you do it all. That's amazing. Well, we're gonna get more into that, but let's talk about. So you were married. You have 4 children of your own,
Mm-hmm.
and you part of your story is that you went through a difficult time during your marriage where your now ex-husband had an issue with alcohol, and he had had alcoholism, if I'm saying
That's
that
right.
correctly,
Mm-hmm.
is what you were saying. Let's talk about just that a little bit about your marriage and kind of like what you were going through and how the challenges of that and what you faced as you went through that.
Okay. Yeah, I was very naive growing up. I was not familiar with alcohol or drugs or anything like that. I think I grew up pretty sheltered,
Right.
which was good. But at the same time, I kind of wish I would have known what to look for.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, he was an alcoholic, but I didn't understand. And he was taking pills. I didn't know what to look for.
Mm-hmm.
And he would tell me, he was just not very nice to me, and would tell me I was a bad wife and a bad mom, and my kids are my life. And
Right.
and I didn't know, I wanted my family to be together. I didn't understand what I was doing wrong.
Okay.
I didn't understand why he was saying that and what I could do different. And so that was challenging.
How early on in the marriage did you realize something was going wrong? I mean, did you know early on, or was it later?
I think it was about 4 years into our marriage that
okay.
he told me that he was taking some pills
Okay.
and drinking Robitussin, and just, I was bummed. I just
Right.
didn't really know what to think.
Was
And
this about the same time too, when he was saying maybe mean things to you? You're a bad mom and that kind of stuff. Did that happen about the same time,
it
or
started out really good. We had lots of fun. It was
Right.
it was great. But yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe it was a little bit later that he started getting a little worse. But he wanted me to ask him if he was sober, and kind of be in charge or be his mom or something.
right? Like
I don't know.
try to hold him accountable. Kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
And that was hard for me because I just wanted to be his wife, and
Right.
I
Not quote unquote his parent or something, right?
right,
I'm going to
yeah,
follow every move you do and
yeah.
that kind of thing.
But I also didn't understand alcoholism. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get it. I didn't
Right.
know what it meant. I didn't know. I just didn't understand, I guess.
Right.
Um, so for lots of years, we were married 15 years. And for lots of years, he, would drink, and he would come home angry, um, and that was a challenge. I felt like I needed to protect my kids,
Yeah.
and I was kind of emotionally a mess, and felt like I was always on edge, just not knowing if he was going to be angry, if I was in trouble, if the kids were, if he was going to yell at the kids, or if, and they would tell me they were scared,
Right.
and that made me sad.
Yeah. And at this time, how old are your kids?
Um, well, let's see. I think my oldest was probably 10, I guess. Then the next would be 7, 6, 5, and then 4. We ended up getting divorced when they were just a year after that. But
Right.
so just for a few years, I mean, it was really the worst the last few years of our marriage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Towards the last few years of the marriage
Yeah.
is when things were really at the height of maybe the negativity and the.
Yeah. And he wouldn't come home, and I didn't know what was going on, where he was, who he was with. And he decided to be with someone else. And that, he wasn't. I asked if he was going to stop, and he told me no. And so that was nothing I could do.
At that point,
Yeah.
yeah. So tell us, I can only imagine how, scary that would be in that moment, knowing that this is happening. You've got 4 kids who are, on some level witnessing this at the same time
Mm-hmm.
you are.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about just kind of what the emotions you were going through at that time.
My main concern was my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I was worried about them, and
Yeah.
about their self-esteem, and not having a dad around. I love my kids. They're
Right.
my life.
Right.
And yeah, it was scary. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know how I was going to support my family, and I knew I couldn't afford to live in San Diego. And he was causing lots of problems and not nice. And my family was very supportive, and they're like, you need to maybe come up here to Utah and be close to family and be somewhere where we can help you. And,
Right.
it's more affordable.
So this is all still down in San Diego
Yeah.
at the time? Okay.
Yeah. So that was one of the hardest decisions, was what to do. And, I didn't want my kids to be upset at me. I didn't want to uproot them.
Right.
But I knew that we were in a bad situation. And I sat them down and I just said, we're going to need to move to Utah. And they were I was blown away by them. They were just like, okay, Mom, if that's what we need to do, then
Really?
then we'll just do it.
So they were very supportive and
They
open to
were.
the idea.
Yeah. And
Wow.
man, it was hard. It was really sad. It was really hard to leave. I mean, it was hard for them to leave their dad, of course, because they'll always love him,
Sure.
and he's their dad.
Yeah.
And that's something that I always wanted them to know too. And like, we didn't have child support for the first few years, and I never withheld visitations or tried any games like that, because my kids are the most important.
Right.
And that relationship, that's part of their self-esteem, is
Right.
knowing that they have a dad. And, I don't feel like that's something you ever want to mess with.
Right. Yeah. So you were trying to make that as smooth
Yeah.
as possible
Yeah.
for your children.
Right.
Wow. Wow. And I can imagine that I could see why you were surprised when you said, here's what we're going to do. And they were so supportive.
Oh, yeah, it was amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you would think maybe they would meet me a little pushback and like, no, we can't do this.
Right. And just be angry with me.
What a blessing for you at the time, right?
It really was. Yeah.
Wow. So as you go through this, and what are some things that you struggled with the most? Yes, I know you wanted to make sure your kids were protected. They're the number one priority. But what about you? How are you personally going through this? And again, I get why you protect your kids, and any mom hearing this would go, "Oh yeah, I get why she was there." But let's talk about how are you dealing with this?
I got so sick. I lost so much weight, and I think I had everything you could even think of. Had the flu and pink eye and bronchitis and pneumonia, and my body was just shutting down
from all the
and
stress.
It was stress, and I think it was just all shock of everything. And I would just try so hard not to let my kids see me falling apart,
Yeah.
So I would, of course, sometimes I just lay in my bed. And sorry.
No, you're okay. You're
just
good.
Not know how I was going to do it. But my family is just so awesome. My parents and my siblings. And I really owe them a ton. And just the strength of my kids.
Yeah. So it sounds like your family stepped up and helped you through this.
They really did, yeah. And my kids would, they were really kind and loving. And I really feel like we grew together so tight just going through this. But I just decided one day, I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I can't fall apart. This has to work. Like, I've got to do this because my kids need me.
Yeah.
And I got to step up.
Wow.
And there's no other option.
You're right. Your back was against the wall.
That's right.
And what am I going to do?
Yeah. And I think I really depended on my ex-husband. I really, he fixed a lot of things. He, just having a man around was so nice. And I just...
Well, even like the financial piece and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean...
Definitely.
For sure.
Yeah. So I learned to do things on my own and had to learn how to become independent and strong. So without the child support for a few years, I really wanted to still do my personal training. I got certified, actually. I didn't tell you that, but as we were going through our divorce, I was just like, what am I going to do? I don't have the skills. I've been a stay-at-home mom
for years. And
what am I going to do? How am I going to support this family?
Right.
And I was already training a bunch of my friends. And so my friends and family, they're like, just, get certified to do this. You can get paid to be a personal trainer. I'm like, I don't know. And so that's what I did. And then I started just, I'd had some equipment, but I'd take people to the park and we would go through workouts or we'd go to the gym and we'd do workouts. And it was so exciting just to be able to help someone else. I mean, I was able to step out of my own life and just help someone else to feel good.
Wow.
And that made me so happy and I loved it, but it wasn't something that I felt like could support my family, especially having to get health insurance and everything. So for a long time, I did that on the side. And then I did personal training on the side. And then I also would have another job where I could make more money and get some health insurance and have a little more stability there.
Okay. Well, you said something really profound, and I think it's really good for all of us to hear this, is that when we're really struggling, reaching out and kind of getting out of yourself and helping someone else. And even though it was maybe a few clients in the park, but just seeing that you're making an impact on some level with these clients that you had, how it made you feel in the moment.
Totally.
Like, and I think we take it for granted, like how powerful that really is. Because usually when we're struggling, what we want to do is turn inward, right? We become actually kind of selfish, which is understandable when we hear what you've gone through.
Right.
But to break out of that and go, okay, no, I am going to do this, and I'm going to try to make a difference in someone today.
Yes.
But how profound and how that helped you kind of propel you forward, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
I feel like I guess it's for everybody, when we're giving service or helping somebody else, then we can, I would feel better about myself, and, that I was making a difference in someone else's life. And that, and even today, I just get so excited when I go to work and when I'm helping people and they're feeling good, and everybody's got a story. Everybody's got, it goes deeper than just, I just ate that whole cake, or, there's some reason,
Right. Yeah. Why did you eat that whole cake?
Yeah. Or I don't know. It's just.
Well, as you're saying this, and I'd like to, if it's okay, if I just kind of plug this, a good friend of mine, Simon Sinek, who wrote the book Start With Your Why and then Find Your Why, New York Times bestseller. He's a motivational speaker. But he says, if you master the first 11 steps of AA, you'll drink again. If you master step 12, you'll never touch another drop. And step 12 is giving back and helping someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, back to, you started doing that and how that kind of opened up the door for you to kind of move forward. How profound that was,
Yeah.
and I say that because anyone who is struggling with anything, I don't care if it's alcohol or if it's just depression or, lack of self-esteem or confidence, when we get out of ourselves and help someone, how good that feels to do that.
Yeah. So
that
true.
Can break us out of that mode.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Wow. That I can only imagine how hard that was, but you said your family also kind of stepped in a little bit and helped out as well. Were they like encouraging you? Obviously, you should be a personal trainer and that kind of thing. But obviously, what else were they doing behind the scenes?
Yeah, my mom, she's always been my number one cheerleader. She's great. Yeah, she would bring dinner over sometimes and give my kids rides, and my sisters would also help the kids, and I think just the emotional support as well was just what I needed, and just encouraging me when I felt like defeated or we all feel that. I still of course have my days when I'm like, geez, I don't know if I can do this, like life is hard, but they're always, I don't know, my family's just always there, and I know that I can count on them, and just friends that I've made, even working with my clients. I think we give and take from each other as well. I have a really great relationship with each one of my clients, and it's really special.
Yeah, that's awesome. Again, when we serve someone or we sacrifice for someone, we're basically saying, I love you.
Yeah.
Love to me equals sacrifice.
Yes.
And so to hear what you're saying makes sense to me. And that's why you have that connection. So you become certified, you're working another job as well. Mm-hmm. When did you get to the point where like, okay, personal training is going to kind of be my thing, and I'm going to expand and start helping other people? You even mentioned to me earlier that you help people in recovery even.
Yes.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, for a while I was teaching boot camp at a boys' home.
Okay.
And that was really cool. These boys, they had some problems, and I didn't know for a long time why they were there, and that was okay with me. It was actually better that I didn't know anything.
Right.
Because there was no judgment.
Yeah.
They were very respectful, and we had a good time. But I just remember one of the boys saying, if anything's going to help him recover and get over his addictions, it was the workouts. And just the adrenaline and the rush that he would get from working out.
So speak of that real quick. How important is it for us to work out, and why is it such a great thing, especially for this guy saying this is what I need to do to get past my addiction?
Yeah. Well, it's just exercise just does something to your brain. And like for myself, when I feel stressed out, if I can go work out, I kind of just work through all that stress.
Right.
And I just forget about it. I can push hard. I can work hard. I feel like I'm in control kind of
Right.
of that. Maybe I'm not in control of anything else in my life right then,
Right.
but I can get a good hard workout.
Yeah.
And this boy realized that, this felt good. This is some way he could have that release
Yeah.
of just working hard and get that adrenaline pumping.
Right. So would you say that it's important for someone who maybe doesn't do anything, just even to get up and move?
Oh, definitely.
Right? Would
Yeah.
make a difference, correct?
Yes. Just moving around, something is better than nothing.
Right.
Doesn't have to be running a marathon,
Right.
Just go out for a little walk.
Yeah. So you started helping these kids at that boys, facility or whatever. Did that continue? Did you reach out to other areas in recovery where you were helping people with fitness?
I have some clients currently that are in recovery, and I just, what a benefit it is for them, to have that. All of us can use it.
Yeah. All of us can use that, right? So what is some of your philosophies that you've gained around, like, what do you tell your clients? Because it's not just the fitness piece.
Yeah.
Isn't it more the mental?
Yeah.
And
It's so much more when you don't, like, just to have a balanced life, you can't just go out and be physically fit, because mentally, if you're not healthy, then I really encourage my clients to keep a journal.
Okay.
To write down their goals, and just write down how they're feeling.
Right.
And things that they're grateful for, because I feel like if you're positive, the way you speak, the way you think about yourself, then you're going to be way more successful.
I love that. I'm going to ask you this. What are you grateful for?
Oh, I am so grateful for my family. I am grateful for nature. I absolutely love and feel the most grateful when I'm out in the trails, if I'm at the beach, just looking around. I just need to get outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you a really tough question, okay?
Okay.
Looking back on it now, what you've been through, what you went through with your ex-husband and all of that, and the ups and the downs and the stress and the sadness, and being in your bed where you didn't want to even get out on some days, and you weren't sure how you were going to do this, and like you're having this huge belief system on top of you that life is just too hard. Knowing what you know now and what you're doing now and all these great things, would you change any of that?
No, I wouldn't.
Why?
I am a better person now than I ever would have been without any of that. It was hard, and I don't wish it on anyone.
Right.
But I am so much more empathetic, and I feel like I can help other people.
Right.
Because I know not everybody's gone through the same situations I have, but everybody goes through something. Everybody has something in their life that they're struggling with.
Yeah.
And we can never judge anyone.
Well, I love what you said, and I didn't know what your answer was going to be, honestly. And I'm glad to hear what you said, because I really believe that life happens for us.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're going through something, in that moment, you don't maybe feel that way.
Right.
But looking back on it, you, like you said, you wouldn't change a thing, because look what you're doing now. Because you're not just the fitness and nutritionist coach. You're helping people work through stuff. Just like that kid at the boys' facility said, I've got to do this to get past my addiction kind of thing. You were helping someone to be able to do that. You wouldn't be doing that had you not gone through what you went through.
That's right.
I love that. And for the listeners hearing this, I say this a lot on a lot of the podcasts, that is that life really does happen for us. And, I look back on my trials, I wouldn't change anything. Even the current ones I'm going through, I would not change it, even though right now it can be heavy.
Oh, yeah.
But I know at the end of this, I'm going to be stronger and better and, so much more,
That's right. That's right. I remember when my kids were young, one of my kids says to me, they said, "Mom, we're poor, huh?" And I said, "No, we are rich with blessings."
Right.
And I said, "We have each other," and I wanted
Right.
them to see that,
Yeah.
let's look for the good.
Right.
And we are like, like having each other is way more important than any amount of money.
Yeah. How has this helped your kids, by the way? Going through, because it's tough. It was tough for the kids, obviously, as
Yeah.
well. How have you seen them grow?
Oh, my kids are so awesome. My kids are so kind, and they accept everyone. They're very loving to anyone who's having a hard time. They don't judge other people, and they don't talk about other people.
Right.
And I'm just so proud of them. And I know that this has been hard for them,
Right.
of course. The moving and
Yeah.
not having their dad. But they have just been my rock.
Risen to the occasion.
They just do.
Kids
Yeah.
are amazing,
They're
aren't they?
amazing.
They really are.
Yeah, and they're special ones. I mean, maybe I'm biased, but they're very special.
Well, I agree, because I think we're all special, honestly. I think we're all, our value, if we were to measure it from 0 to 100, we're all at 100.
Yes,
It never fluctuates. It might fluctuate in our own mind,
that's right.
but it never fluctuates. So I think we're all special.
Mm-hmm.
And to see your kids, the way they handled it and what they've gone through, and like you're even saying, what you see in them now, it's really allowed them to really kind of grow and learn that they can do hard things.
That's exactly
Right?
right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's impressive. If there's someone listening to this right now who might be in the same situation that you've gone through, and they're struggling, they're not sure what to do, and they feel lost and hopeless, what's some advice that you could give them that might be helpful for them to hear today?
I think just taking one day at a time, just try and be kind to yourself. Try and speak positively about yourself and look for the good. I really feel like gratitude goes a long way because
Yeah.
it kind of changes our mind
I love that.
and our thoughts. And I would want them to know that they're worth it.
Yeah.
They're worth everything just as much as anyone else.
Right.
We're all hard on ourselves. Maybe we think we're not good enough or something, but we all are.
Yeah. Love that. So what does a day look like for you? What does your day, I mean, let's talk about just what does a daily routine look like for you? Someone who's active, works out, trains people, probably eats really well. You're very fit. So let's talk about what that looks like. What does your day look like?
Well, my day starts very early.
Yeah.
I either start with teaching a class, or I teach at a gym, and I also train
Okay.
people at my home.
Oh, okay.
So I'll someday. I mean, it's always different, but it usually consists of personal training and maybe teaching a cycling class and another class, and then I'll get a workout for myself. Usually I'll try and go on a trail run up in the mountains somewhere.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll come home and have a little something to eat, say hi to my kids, and then I'll go back to work. I'll work on my website, do some things there, answer some questions, and then I'll go
Right.
back to the gym and I'll do some more training or teach some more
Wow.
classes. So it's pretty full,
Yeah.
but
Wow.
I love it. I look forward to every client, and it's fun to see the changes. It's fun to see their faces when they start to see some results, and even when they don't, even
Right.
when they're discouraged,
Yeah.
I just try to help them and keep them accountable.
Wow. I love that. what do you do to kind of keep yourself kind of mentally strong? Yes, you obviously do a lot of physical, which obviously feeds into thinking good thoughts and having a good attitude and feeling like you're on fire for the day. But do you do anything specifically outside of the fitness to kind of keep yourself, solid when it comes to the mental and maybe even the spiritual side of things?
Yeah, I like to listen to self-help books.
Mm-hmm.
Recently I've been listening to some Brene Brown,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, she's awesome.
she is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've listened to some of your podcasts and just those
Right
kind
on.
of things that are
Yeah.
motivating, stories of other people who have
Yeah.
made it,
Yeah.
and even, I mean, maybe not made it, because do we ever make it?
Yeah.
But going through hard things and yeah, I think just keeping those positive thoughts and some meditation. I do some meditation and just try and keep myself positive. Spend some time with my family and friends and
Right.
get up to the mountains. And I mean, I know that's a physical thing, but at the same time, sometimes I'll just go up there and I'll sit.
Right. And
Yesterday, I went on a trail run. I got to the top of Elephant Rock and I just sat there.
oh,
And I just looked around and I was grateful.
yeah. No, I understand that, man. Being in the mountains, it's a spiritual experience. It's therapeutic.
It really is.
It's amazing. Just hearing the sounds and it's just a different feel. So I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
So if someone wanted to reach out to you and, learn more about what you do, what would be the best way for them to do that?
Well, I've got a website that they can go to, and it's www.caseyrotheyfit.com. And I also have a Facebook and an Instagram account,
Okay.
and they're both Casey Rothey Fit as well.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So, or they could email me at casey.rothey@gmail.com. And I would be so happy to talk to anyone, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
yeah, about fitness or life or whatever, you know.
No, I love that. Can you give us a challenge? Can you give us, our listeners and myself, a challenge that you think would be appropriate?
Of course, I can always give a good challenge.
Yeah.
Well, so let's see. Our challenge, it's going to be physical.
Sure.
So I want you to get moving. What I want you've got to be burning more than you're taking in if you're trying to lose weight. So just get up and move a little more than you have been, if that's something that you're looking to do. If you
Right.
haven't been doing anything, if you're feeling sluggish, just get moving. Also, water is super important. So drinking half of your body weight in ounces.
It's a lot of water.
That is a lot of water, yeah. Yes, but it's good for you.
But it's important, yeah.
Yes. And then also keeping a journal, a gratitude journal.
Okay.
I would say that would be a challenge. I
Love
would
that.
just daily write down what it is that you're grateful for, or something that you saw that was good in that day.
Okay. Great challenge. So move, drink a lot of water, write in your journal, be for the things you're grateful for.
That's right.
There's another thing I want to address. You have this belief now of always doing your best and never giving up.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I know where that's coming from, but talk about that for a second. Like, why is that your platform you stand on?
I feel like sometimes we don't know if we're good enough, but if you're doing your best, you are good enough.
Yeah, that's a
And
good way to put it.
yeah, you're just trying your hardest, and that's great. That's perfect. And that's what I tell my kids. That's, in school, in life, if you're doing your best, that's all we can ask for.
Right.
And whatever that is, that's perfect.
Yeah. And I would imagine your kids understand this.
Yes, I hope they do.
Yeah.
And yes, never give up. Even when you want to. There's reasons why we go through things in our lives, and there's reasons why we need to work hard.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, you probably had moments back then, like you even mentioned, when you would lay in your bed and go, what? I don't know if I can even get out.
Mm-hmm.
You probably had moments or thoughts of feeling like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you've learned through that process that, and here's the thing, you never gave up.
Right.
I mean, that's why you're here. That's why you're doing what you're doing. That's why you're helping so many people. I mean, you got to probably even pinch yourself a little bit and go, man, I'm really doing this?
I know.
Do you ever feel that way?
Yes. I love it. I love it.
That's
I love
so
my
cool.
job.
Well, I think you're amazing. I love your passion, and I love specifically your passion for helping other people. And no matter what it is, whether it's fitness or nutrition or just, the mental and spiritual side of things, I love your passion for doing that because, again, that's kind of what's helped you propel past the challenges you went through in your marriage and just growing up in general and maybe overcoming some of your own, belief systems you had about yourself during that.
Right.
Why wasn't I good enough? And
exactly
those kind of things,
yeah,
right?
We always go there.
Yep. That seems to be like the number one limiting belief. I'm not good enough.
That's right.
I have if it's okay, I have a saying on my wall up here. Will you read that out loud?
The most delightful surprise in life is to suddenly recognize there is nothing wrong with you. Oh, that's really good.
It really is the most delightful surprise. And despite what you went through, Casey, there was really nothing wrong with you the entire time. And I'm really inspired to hear your story. And I really appreciate you sharing this. I know when we talked before we even started recording that you're like, man, can I do this? And you did a wonderful job. And I want to just tell you how grateful I am that you were willing to be vulnerable and share your story with all of us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. It was fantastic.
Thanks.
Well, there you go, listeners. Casey Rothey, please reach out to her. Again, her website is CaseyRotheyFit.com. Please ask her any questions. She's obviously already told us that she's willing to answer and ask any, and help answer any of your questions that you may have. And she's just that person who loves to help. And, if you're looking for someone to get you off the couch and you need a little motivation and you want to start maybe getting in shape, reach out to her. She's probably the person you need. And, so please reach out to her for that as well. And so anyway, again, thank you so much, Casey.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to meet you, and it's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
I appreciate it.
All right. Well, there you go, listeners. Another amazing Belief Cast, another amazing person. Please reach out to anyone that you know that may need to hear her story and share this with her. And thank you so much for all your support. And again, like she just mentioned and read off my wall, that there's really nothing wrong with us. We just tell ourselves a story that there might be or there is, and that's just not true. Despite what you're going through, never give up. Always do your best, just like the Holy Spirit tells us. So thank you, and we'll talk to you guys soon.